Dustin Woodward is a trainer here at Gold's Gym who says DC's Deputy Mayor Chris Geldart grabbed him by the neck in this parking lot. He says he can't help but think about how this could have ended much worse.
I mean, it's a little frustrating, right? Because he's way too big to be trying to be a bully, and especially with his position. Something should be done, but it's not okay. We've been dealing with him a while at Gold's, at multiple locations, actually. That's how we even figured out who he was. So something needs to be done, because you can't just abuse your power like that, right? Like that's very frustrating on my end.
The whole physical altercation was recorded. Dustin got permission to use this surveillance video, and you will only see it exclusively here on Fox 5. DC's Deputy Mayor Chris Geldart is on the right. Dustin is on the left. According to Arlington police, this whole back and forth argument stemmed from Chris allegedly opening up his car door and hitting Dustin's girlfriend's parked car. The dispute escalated to the point where Dustin says Chris was cussing and screaming, causing him to turn around and tell him to shut up. That's when you see Chris get in Dustin's face in a confrontational style. They're chest to chest, and Dustin says Chris put his hands on his throat before he was able to push him away. Today, I asked Mayor Muriel Bowser if she thinks this is acceptable behavior from someone on her leadership team, and per usual, she didn't want to answer our questions.
I haven't seen it, and I won't.
You're looking at it now.
Oh, I actually won't. Actually, I asked you for it earlier, where I could review it, and that's where I'll review it in my office.
You can see it right now, though. We're showing you the video.
I'll review it in my office.
So you're going to speak with us later about this at a different time?
No, actually, I probably won't.
Why not?
Because I asked you for some information that you had, and you didn't give it to me.
We're giving it to you right now.
Well, you can give it to me in my office, but thank you for your question.
So when can we meet in your office to do this, Mayor Bowser? Susanna, when can we meet in her office? After several calls to DC Mayor Bowser's office and them refusing to respond, they finally sent Fox 5 this statement saying, "We take any accusations seriously and are reviewing the matter. While it is under review, Deputy Mayor Geldart is on leave. Unfortunately, it sounds like something that happens to a lot of people, a dispute over something minor, and we hope it is resolved quickly." Just take a look. The tweets are rolling in. Many appalled and asking why. He lives in Falls Church, Virginia. This comes after I stopped by DC Deputy Mayor Chris Geldart's home to question him about the assault and battery charge he is facing. Today, I spoke with people in DC who say it's concerning that he may be spending more time and money across the river.
That's really troubling. And there has to be an investigation and a full accounting.
I mean, if you're not living in the District of Columbia, how can you be representing us? Because you don't live here. You know what I'm saying? You have to be here and see how things operate in D.C. to be able to protect us. Like, you can't protect us from all the way out in Falls Church. What if we need you? We got to wait till you get here.
DC's Deputy Mayor Chris Geldart allegedly has an apartment here in Southeast DC, but is living in his Falls Church, Virginia home. Fox 5 stopped by both residences again today to give him the opportunity to share his side and explain, but no one answered the door. According to DC code, in executive positions like DC's Deputy Mayor, you must live in DC within 180 days of your appointment. If not, you will be removed from your position. However, there is a section in the law that says when an employee suffers from an extraordinary hardship due to exceptional circumstances beyond their control, the mayor can review the request and give them a waiver. The only proof of residency you need as a DC official is having a District of Columbia driver's license and making sure your wages are being withheld in the nation's capital, so essentially paying income tax in the city and not another state. After speaking with multiple DC officials today, they view this as a possible loophole and believe it's not in the spirit of the law to just be renting in D.C. The deputy mayor should be living in D.C.
What's his hardship? Come on. So that represent the people that you say you represent, and commingle amongst them as well.
I would say leaders should live where they govern.
Fox 5 did check in with DC's Board of Elections, and they tell me Chris Geldart did register to vote here back in January 2018. The DC's mayor's office texted me a statement saying that all matters pertaining to Chris Geldart remain under review and he remains on leave. There's a lot of controversy surrounding DC Deputy Mayor Chris Geldart. It all started right here in this parking lot when his violent and aggressive behavior was caught on camera. Exclusive Fox 5 video shows the moment DC's Deputy Mayor of Public Safety and Justice, Chris Geldart, allegedly grabs Dustin Woodward, a trainer at the Gold's Gym on Wilson Boulevard in Arlington, Virginia, by the neck after a dispute in the parking lot. Woodward only wanted to speak with me after reporting the incident to police.
It's a little frustrating, right? Because he's way too big to be trying to be a bully, and especially with his position.
When Fox 5 first showed DC's Mayor Muriel Bowser the video to ask if she thinks this is acceptable behavior from someone on her leadership team, this is how she responded.
I haven't seen it, and I won't
You're
be
looking at it now.
Oh,
This
I
is a
actually
video.
won't. Actually, I asked you for it earlier, where I could review it, and that's where I'll review it in my office.
You can see it right now, though. We're showing you
But
the video.
I'll review it in my office.
So you're going to speak with us later about this at a different time?
No, actually, I probably won't.
Days later, her sentiment towards the situation has changed.
I have some concerns about the interaction.
People also have concerns about a leader not living where they govern. Geldart allegedly has an apartment in Southeast D.C., but lives in his Falls Church, Virginia home with family. According to D.C. code, in executive positions like D.C.'s deputy mayor, you must live in D.C. within 180 days of your appointment. If not, you will be removed from your position. The mayor says she has not given any hardship waiver or reviewed one that would allow this.
Mayor Bowser, several D.C. officials I spoke with tell me they feel like it's not in the spirit of the law to just be renting in D.C. They feel the deputy mayor should be living in D.C. Do you feel that residency definitions need to be strengthened?
We don't have a requirement that people own a home. They can rent a home. Many people in D.C. rent homes. That's not less having a home. Excuse me. Any other questions?
Other reporters jumped in, demanding a direct response.
It's the spirit of law. I mean, that is to the point of this. He's not the first person to have.
I mean, I was answering the young lady's question who said, right, "Can you rent?" Or people had questions about people renting.
Well, no,
and I don't have a. No, I heard the question. I'm standing right here. You can rent a home. It's a home.
But
it's no less a home.
Full-time residence.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Like I said.
Right now, D.C. Deputy Mayor Chris Geldart is on leave. Fox 5 has tried to contact him by calling and even knocking on his door, but we have yet to receive a response. Good evening to you both, Rob and Angie. Well, after Fox 5's investigative reporting, Mayor Muriel Bowser just announced Chris Geldart has resigned as D.C.'s Deputy Mayor of Public Safety and Justice. She does say she is proud of the work they have done together over the past 8 years, but admits the allegations against him are serious. Mayor Bowser, what was the conversation like when Geldart resigned, and is he able to work for D.C. government ever again?
I'm not sure what conversation that you're, what did you say, conversation?
He resigned, right? So I'm
That's
sure
correct.
he spoke with you also. Just wondering what was that like and what did he say?
I'm not going to go into detail with our conversation, but suffice it to say, we agree that the needs of the district are what we should be focused on.
Fox 5 is the only media outlet with this exclusive surveillance video from the Gold's Gym in Arlington on Wilson Boulevard. This fight happened back on Saturday, October 1st, just before 12:30 in the afternoon. Geldart is on the right and a man named Dustin Woodward is on the left. They got into an argument, then the situation escalated to Geldart allegedly grabbing Woodward by the neck in the parking lot. Geldart is charged with assault and battery, and when police revealed his home address is in Falls Church, Virginia, concerns were raised about him living outside the district. Today, Mayor Bowser was asked if she believes there are loopholes in the residency requirements for D.C. officials, and there were multiple questions about the possibility of a review of the D.C. code, since it is not in the spirit of the law for cabinet members and others to just be renting in the nation's capital. They are required to be living in D.C. Here's her response.
I've hired a lot of cabinet officials that have houses elsewhere. They have spouses elsewhere. They have parents elsewhere that don't sell their homes elsewhere to be able to live here. If that was the requirement, I would have a hard time filling cabinet positions. I'm just going to tell you that. So to tell somebody that they need to become DC residents in 180 days has generally worked.
Chris Geldart has resigned as DC's Deputy Mayor of Public Safety and Justice after he was caught on this surveillance camera allegedly assaulting a man in this parking lot. Today, during a press conference, DC's Attorney General Resigned said Geldart was never qualified for the position. Do you believe he was fit for the role in the first place?
No.
Why or why not?
No. If you're going to run or be the deputy mayor for public safety and justice, you should have a track record around the issues involved in that jurisdiction. The record shows that he did not. I think what happens a lot in this government is that loyalty matters more than expertise and competence.
I did reach out to Mayor Muriel Bowser's office for a response in regards to that statement, and I am waiting to hear back. Geldart served as deputy mayor since January 2021 after stints as the director of Public Works and Homeland Security and Emergency Management Agency. As deputy mayor, he oversaw agencies such as the Department of Corrections and the Department of Forensic Sciences. Attorney General Resigned said they're both failed agencies and believes that speaks to the leadership that should have been replaced a long time ago based on performance. Take a look at this exclusive Fox 5 video showing the moment Chris Geldart, who is on the right, allegedly grabbed Dustin Woodward, a trainer at the Gold's Gym in Arlington, Virginia on Wilson Boulevard, by the neck. Geldart is now charged with assault and battery. When police listed his address in Falls Church, Virginia, concerns were also raised about him failing to abide by DC government residency requirements. Mayor Bowser faced backlash after her original statement characterized the incident as something that happens to a lot of people. She was asked if her perspective has since changed.
I think all the reports suggest it was over a possible door ding, so I would call that minor. Do I think the effects of that were minor? No. I think that was serious. The response was serious, but I think what it was about nothing.
The victim who pressed charges against Geldart says he has mixed emotions about his resignation and says this has been a very stressful time for him. Today, I did get in touch with Geldart's wife by phone. She says no comment. Good evening. Chris Geldart and his attorney, Karen Porter, did not appear in court today. Instead, they did what's called a notice of appearance of counsel, essentially moving that court date to another day and time. Just to be clear, Geldart has not pled guilty or not guilty or entered any plea deal at this time. Now, let's remind you how we got here. Take a look at this exclusive Fox 5 video. Dustin Woodward, a personal trainer at the Gold's Gym in Arlington, Virginia on Wilson Boulevard, says Geldart hit his girlfriend's car door. That's when the two got into an argument in the parking lot and the fight quickly escalated. The incident occurred on Saturday, October 1st, just before 12:30 in the afternoon. Woodward first did an interview with Fox 5 after the scuffle, and here's how he describes what happened.
He's walking around the car screaming, cussing, yelling. And so I finally turn around and tell him, like, hey, shut up. And so that's when he walks up on me. And we get chest to chest. He walks right up on me. And then I was like, what are you doing? And so he sticks his hand out and grabs me by the throat, at which point I just shove him off and it's like, don't touch me.
Geldart resigned from his position last week after being charged with assault and battery, as well as facing scrutiny for living outside the district. He's accused of having a home in Falls Church, Virginia with his family and renting an apartment in D.C. to meet residency requirements. Geldart explained to the Washington Post that he was geo-bacheloring. That's a military term used to describe an arrangement where service members live apart from their families. Geldart also told the newspaper that he's embarrassed by his actions that led to the assault and battery charge. His next court date is December 8th at 9:30 in the morning. Stay ahead with Fox 5. Of course, we will keep you up to date with the very latest. Fox 5 has uncovered some government employees like DC's former Deputy Mayor of Public Safety and Justice, Chris Geldart, are taking advantage of this residency law, claiming to lay their head here a few nights a week when really they have a home somewhere else. Today, I spoke with people who are living in D.C. and say if you are a leader in the nation's capital making decisions, you need to be a full-time resident here.
I don't think it is fair to govern people and you don't live in the same environment with them. I just think that it should be changed.
There will always be those people that want to think that the rules don't apply to them and they're somehow an exception. I think it's just a matter of making sure that those requirements make sense and are tied to some sort of goal of, effectively managing a city.
Fox 5 interviewed council member at large Alyssa Silverman, who believes changes are needed to the D.C. code in regards to residency requirements for government employees. She is the chair of the committee with oversight of D.C. Human Resources. Almost 2 weeks ago, Silverman sent an email to the interim director, Lindsay Maxwell, asking a number of questions, including how to determine a government employee is a full-time resident in D.C., especially when they have a second home outside the district. Last Wednesday, Human Resources requested a 2-day extension to her inquiry, but Silverman's office says at this time they still have not received a response. Fox 5 also reached out to DCHR as well as the mayor's office for information, and we're waiting to hear back. Silverman has been pushing to increase the number of district residents who work for D.C. government. She says the agencies that the D.C. Deputy Mayor of Public Safety and Justice oversees, including police and fire and EMS, has the lowest percentage of D.C. residents, and the hope is for that to change.
If we have a major incident, like for example on 9/11 or January 6th, we want to have first responders who are close in, who live in the city, who can be called into service and not coming from Fauquier County or from Charles County. There's also a tax advantage for us. We can't tax the income of commuters. This is a statehood issue. So there are many advantages to us of having our residents work in our government jobs.
Just to be clear, any changes to the residency law wouldn't happen overnight. It will take some time and probably won't happen until council's next session, since this one is already wrapping up. How the process would work is a bill would be introduced. Then there would be hearings to discuss what would and wouldn't make sense as far as changes. Stay ahead with Fox 5 as we continue to follow this story. Good evening. Chris Geldart and his attorney believe the judge made the right decision here in court today. They said no criminal offense happened, which is why the charges were dropped, and now they feel justice has been served. Hello, Mr. Geldart. The charges were dropped. How are you feeling?
Appreciative that the Commonwealth attorney did their job, did their due diligence, and they looked at talked to the witnesses and looked into the whole matter and came to the conclusion they did.
Do you regret your behavior from that day?
Sarah, I've already said that. I've already said that. It's been in the post and all that. The way I presented myself that day is not who I am. However, I don't think any of that ever rose to the level of where we are today.
This is the exclusive video obtained by Fox 5 of the incident. D.C.'s former Deputy Mayor of Public Safety and Justice was charged with assault and battery after a Gold's Gym fitness trainer, Dustin Woodward, accused Geldart of grabbing him by the neck after an argument over a door ding in the parking lot. 1 week later, Geldart resigned from his government position. In court, an Arlington prosecutor asked the judge for the charges to be dropped, since this seemed to be a situation between two men whose tempers got the best of them. New evidence in court showed police body camera footage where a witness was interviewed and stated Woodward seemed to be the main aggressor, but mentioned it was mutual as well. The judge ultimately sided with prosecutors throwing out the case, saying the situation was not handled well by either party. Here's Woodward's message to the Arlington Commonwealth's Attorney's Office.
Y'all did a poor job. You all did a poor job. There is no excuse for what you're doing. Period. It wasn't justified. There's plenty of evidence to pursue that. You just chose not to. This is another situation where the judicial system fails. That's all this.
Woodward said he's going to keep fighting because he's not pleased with the outcome. I did ask Geldart what's next and if he has a job. He said his focus right now is taking care of his family.